Well, howdy, 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 everybody. Teresa here, and...
Oh, me.
Paperwork Brad. So we're not going to bug Brad because he is busy doing a bunch of paperwork. I'll explain why in a minute. It is August 11th, 2016. Thursday afternoon. It's 12:34 p.m. already. The weather is, it's 82 degrees out. Real feel is 102. The high will be 89. The low will be 75. It's been a bit cooler than it has been, and that's been quite nice. We've been enjoying getting outside more. There's been a little bit of a breeze, which is nice, and it's just very pleasant. We find it is anyway. Yesterday we took our customary naps. Big surprise there, right? Brad made breaded pork steaks with a noodle mix and some vegetables. I just basically ate the pork steaks, a little bit of the noodles, a little bit of the vegetables. I'm just not real hungry lately, which is a great thing. I did some looming. This is that I'm working on that second panel of the mermaid tail blanket, so that's what I'm got going on there. So that's coming along very nicely. Like I said, that's the second panel. I'm hoping that today I will finish up with the panel, and then I will be able to start laying it out, assembling it. I need to make the tail part, the big fin part and stuff, so I'm excited about all that. It's been a lot of fun. I watched the movie The River Runs Through It last night. Brad and I kind of switched off. He was watching some YouTube videos on some different stuff he wants to do, some wood burning and whatnot. And so I watched the movie The River Runs Through It, and it was an enjoyable movie. Today we plan on probably laying down later and taking naps, of course. We need to clean house. I did do the cat litter box yesterday because he had peed again yesterday morning while we were gone, and he normally doesn't do this. So I did the cat litter box again. I'm just going to do it a lot more frequently. I've been doing it every 5 days, which I thought would be enough for 2 cats, but you know, some cats are very, very picky, and even if I have to do it every day, I will. So now I'm doing it every 3 days. See if that, I mean, because it wasn't bad, but you know, some, especially some male cats and stuff, can be very, very picky about that stuff. So whatever it takes. I know when we were in Wyoming and stuff, in our old house, we had 2 cat litter boxes because I had another cat who, Tigger, who was a male cat who was very, very picky and stuff too. So, you know, and yes, they're fixed and everything. So,
Tigger was a pretty boy.
Yeah, he was. He was a Maine Coon, and he found us on a very rainy night. He was crying outside our door, and you know, I hear the girls and I, Brad was at work, hear this cat crying, and like I said, it's raining and everything. We open up the door. Here's this little, what we thought was a little kitten. We bring it in for a while. We feel bad for it. We feed it stuff. Then I put it back out because I'm like, maybe it has a home or whatever. No. And it kept crying. I was upset then because I didn't see it for a little bit. And I think it got scared. And Brad came home later that night and I said, did you see that cat outside, that kitten? And he said, no. Well, when he had opened up the door, the cat had run inside. And I turned around, and there's that cat sitting in the middle of the floor. And he ate and ate and ate so much cat food, I thought he was going to get sick. And when we decided to keep him, he was a pretty little cat. When we took him to the vet, he was a lot older than we thought he was. He was still a kitten, but he was, what?
He was about like 10 months old.
10 months old, but he had the size of about a 7-month-old.
Yeah.
Because he had been so emaciated that, you know. And, but he was a pretty Maine Coon cat. He was very pretty and stuff. But, anyway, tonight I'm making stroganoff from scratch. And The things I wanted to talk about today was Brad and I have been doing a lot of talking about his disabilities and stuff, which he has a hard time as a male, first of all, because you want to be able to take care of everything in the home. And, he was formerly the strong guy who could lift anything, carry anything. He was a workhorse. So he's had a hard time wrapping his mind around now that he's disabled and cannot do a lot of those things. And so we were talking about being able to accept the new you. And I mean, I love him just as much as I always have. I don't think any less of him. We're a team, and the things that he can't do that I can still do, or we can work together on doing things that, because there's things that I have trouble doing that he can do more easily, and there's things I can do easier that he can't do, like bending over and stuff I can do a lot easier than he can. And, it's a team effort. But I remember when I first started becoming more disabled, how hard it was to accept my limitations. When I had to stop bowling, when I had to stop babysitting the grandkids as much and stuff, because it just became too physically hard to do some of the stuff. Because I used to be able to do everything. And, when I had to alter the way I cooked, because I could not stand there and cook for long periods, that I do better if I can sit and cook. And just, if you look at anybody who's disabled, that maybe they're in a wheelchair full time, maybe they're paralyzed, you find ways to adapt. You find ways to be able to do things, so you can still live a happy, full life. You just have to change the way you do stuff. But, it's a hard thing for everybody to accept. And you don't want people to think less of you, because when you say, so many times you'll say to somebody that you no longer can do something that you've always done. Like my husband, he can no longer go ice fishing because he just couldn't tolerate the cold any longer. And people his friends will look at him, and I've witnessed it so many times, like he's got 20 heads. Because they're like, what? Because he used to love the cold weather. When I met him, he kept his apartment about 65 degrees. And he was the one that would go out in shorts and no shoes on, out in the snow and stuff. I mean, he loved cold weather. But, with a neuropathy and stuff, he just cannot tolerate it, and a diabetes. But that can be a hard thing. Right, hon?
Mm-hmm.
Are you busy?
Very much. No.
Okay.
Nope, I was just listening to you.
Well,
yeah, it is frustrating because, like Teresa said, when I was young, if anybody needed something heavy to be moved,
mm-hmm.
I would move it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little Chevy Love 4-wheel drive, and I had the hubs repacked. Took it out 4-wheeling. They put the hubs in backwards so you couldn't lock in the front hubs.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the rear end stuck in the mud. So I grabbed the rear bumper and I lifted the tires up off the ground and walked them over and set them on dry ground.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that I just,
I mean, psychologically and emotionally, it's yeah. And I do think it's probably harder for men. Because like that, he was always the one that could, like he said, lift anything, carry anything, but, just trying to get him. He's finally telling me how much pain he's actually really been in for years that he hid, or he thought he was hiding it. He wasn't hiding it as well as he thought he was, because I can tell by, different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been talking about that. And then the other thing is, we've been talking some about wanting to get into a normal housing situation. But the reality of it really is we cannot afford to pay full utilities right now.
Yeah.
you know, there's only so much money. And you just have to, we just can't afford to. And, you know, talking about it more realistically, Brad, that's why he's going for disability, is he cannot work. I mean, he just, there's no way he can do the work, any of the work he used to do. So, you know, and I can't either, because I have severe arthritis and I also have an immune deficiency disease I was apparently just born with, and so I get sick every time I work outside the home. I have to really watch how much I'm even out in the general public. But so you have to accept just how your life is. There are worse things in the world than living in an RV.
Yep.
We're in a good park. It's a safe park. There's great neighbors. People don't look down upon each other here like you will find in some of the RV parks. I was listening to one gal talk about she was trying to find an RV park in Oregon, and or maybe it was up in Washington. I guess it was up. No, it was up in Oregon, up in the Portland area, and she's having trouble finding any of them that would take full time because they all had waiting lists, and they also, so many of them said that your rig had to be 10 years or newer, and you had to show proof that you had $1,500 or more coming in. And, you know, we don't have that kind of snotty, you know, thing here. You know, there's people with all different walks of life. There's people with newer and bigger rigs. There's people with older and smaller rigs. You know, all different kinds of different trailers and RVs and stuff. And everybody is, the full-timers and stuff are all very nice and stuff. So, you know, there's worse things I've seen where people on different YouTube have gotten into some RV parks where there's a lot of drug activity and a lot of like very scary people that you wonder about what their police record is and their prison record.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, I remember a couple weeks ago I was talking with the manager.
Yeah.
And she said that any holiday weekend that she didn't have to call the police was a good weekend.
Right.
And, you know, for the most part, everybody usually wraps things outside up about 10. And if they're hanging out outside after that, they're very quiet.
No, we got quiet hours are from 10 till I think 8 a.m.
Something like that.
10 p.m. to 8 a.m. But there's still people out awake and everything else. We are. But, you know, everybody quiets it down and stuff, because, you know, you do have some people that do actually go to bed at a decent hour and, you know, that has to go to work the next morning and stuff. So, you know, what we have to do is, for now, until Brad's disability is approved, we've got to just stay put, and we have to just make the best of it. We have to do things better. As far as the dogs getting enough exercise, now the two little girls are old, and, you know, frankly, they get enough exercise just going outside and coming in. The two other ones, the problem is, and this is why I say you have to be very careful, when you become disabled, it's also very hard to walk large dogs. It can be done, you just have to alter how you do it.
Yep.
We need longer leads when we can afford them. We can't afford them right now, but we want to get a couple of those heavy duty, you know, for large dogs, retractable leashes, and that we can load them up in the car, and we can take them to a safe area where we can even sit and let them run on their long leads and get some exercise. You know, if we do that a couple of times a week, they will be very happy and stuff. And when Brad isn't in a lot of pain and stuff, we can go for walks. Now that it's cooling off, we want to both start going for walks, even around this RV park and stuff. So, there's things that we can do better.
Yep.
We could get some walking totes when we can afford to again, and slide stuff underneath the RV and stuff. So, we're just going to hunker down and make the best of it. One of the things I wanted to say is Brad does good news. He got it in the mail yesterday. He does have 2 appointments set up for disability for physical examinations. He has one with radiology up in Tallahassee. We assume, they didn't say, but we assume they're going to run a whole battery of x-rays and tests and stuff on his back and everything. And then he has an appointment after that, about 9 days later. 9 days later, up in Crawfordville with a doctor that's going to assess him and everything and do a full report. So that is progress. His pain's a little bit better because he's back on some of his medications. He doesn't take any painkillers per se. The only thing he takes is gabapentin and that for the neuropathy, but that does also help a little bit with calming them back down at night. He only takes it at night. I know some people have to take it like 3 times a day, even in the daytime and stuff. He isn't to that point yet. But so that's all progress, and we're all very happy about that. One of the things is life isn't always how we want it to be. I think, especially in this country, we all want things that are convenient and easy, including us. And you get impatient, and I know I can get that way, definitely. But we knew this was going to be a hard road when we did this, because we knew it started out being a dream of living someplace warmer and stuff, and in someplace different. We wanted a different lifestyle, and then it became a necessity. Between Brad's back continuing to get worse and worse, and a neuropathy, and his work situation, and of course the work affected the income, which affected, I already talked about the house and everything. Then it became a necessity. We just, I really feel like God showed us that yes, we were on the right path. There were a lot of things that happened that said, you can no longer stay here in this environment, in this situation. And, at the last possible moment, we were given, a chance to get this RV, pay cash for it, and take that chance and move on out here. And like I said, the reason we chose an RV and stuff is so we could take our animals, because we did make a commitment to all of our animals, and we're not going to just leave them behind. So we knew it was going to be hard. We did think that once we moved out here that we both were very naive, thinking his back would be much better, and we just didn't know that once he wasn't working and we weren't trying to pack up a house and load up stuff, that his back would calm down and stuff. It is it some better? Is I don't think we realized how bad his back really had gotten, or I know I didn't. It was much worse than I thought it was. Like I said, we both thought that we magically would be perfectly healthy. Now, for me, for both of us, for our breathing, it vastly improved living here with the asthma. For me, it took about 3 months of living here, if anybody is wondering, with the change in the barometric pressure. At first, a lot of pain and stuff. Now I'm finally used to it, and yes, I'm in some pain still, but not near as bad. I can move around a lot better. I am able to walk a lot better. I usually can walk without a cane. I know that I'll be able to go for walks with that rollator around the RV park and stuff, which I'm very excited about now that it's cooling off, to get more exercise. That will be our form of exercise. That is the easiest form of exercise for us. and what we have available, and the cheap. But you know, we're not sorry we moved here. We've got the ball rolling. It's a better lifestyle. When Brad is up to it, he does go fishing when he's not in a lot of pain and stuff. The nights that he's in a lot of pain, then we just make the best of it and read books and watch movies and watch the Olympics and talk to each other. And one thing this has proved, living in an RV park, you either really, really love each other or else you're going to hate each other, because you are always together and there is no privacy. You know, but you learn to make adjustments. You know, we call what we do the massive dog shuffle. We just did it a little bit ago, even though Charlie is back down off the couch. Okay, now get this. The beagle was on the couch. I know this is fascinating, right? The beagle was on the couch with a little diapered butt. The mastiff wanted up on the couch. So we get the beagle off. I have to basically kind of drag her off because she didn't want to leave, to get her to go up to the passenger's captain chair up front to lay, so the mastiff come on. So then the dachshund, little Missy Mama with the, you know, the big dog trapped in a little body, she wants up on the couch too by me. So I get her up there. So now we got the mastiff and the dachshund. And now I look over and see the mastiff is terrified of this dachshund. So he's now off the couch and she's sprawled out on the couch here next to me.
And she's sprawled.
And if you're wondering, Nixie, the giant schnauzer, is back by the bed. You know, Brad's going to give her a bath later because she seems to be kind of uncomfortable. So check her over and give her a bath. But that's a whole, we have learned to rearrange dogs and stuff, and we're always rearranging and trying different things. Oh, and then yesterday we come home and there's this brown liquid, big blotches all over this TV tray that Brad has. He uses like a table by his chair. He has a coffee cup sitting there, and I'm like, how in the heck did he spill coffee and then the cup is still upright? Well, I didn't think too much of it. I made a comment to him about it, cleaned it up. Later on, we look and see the beagle keeps going underneath the steering wheel. And so she had canned the pop. We had 12 packs of pop stacked up there, not thinking anybody was going to go to traffic area, you know. And what happened is she punctured one of them. And it must have sprayed all over. Thank goodness it's sugar-free pop. That's what happened. Because Brad showed me the can. And it's like, holy moly. We got to find a new home for this pop. We got to move it. Because, yeah.
We've got that little GoPro knockoff.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about, God, maybe we
should
set it up.
We should set that up, huh, guys, to see what these dogs are actually doing when we're gone. Oh, you definitely should. We'll have to do that.
Yeah.
So, that's all that we got going on. But yeah, you just got to accept, sometimes you got to take a step back and go, okay, I need to stop worrying about the future so much and just accept how life is right now. For right now, we're very blessed. None of us, we don't have any terminal disease. Mm-hmm. We don't have cancer or anything. You know, money is extremely tight and stuff, and we're still, you know, like that. We're trying to figure out how we're going to get enough money to have gas enough to go up to Tallahassee and back for these tests. So, you know, we're probably going to have to sell some stuff. You know, we don't want to sell. We already, you know, downsized so much and, you know, but, you know, if we have to, we have to, you know. But it'll all work out because, you know, God usually, you know, gives you some kind of a blessing. God or whoever you believe in gives you some kind of a blessing that, you know, will make it where you have enough money to you know, to do stuff. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you just got to take a step back and go, you know, for now, we're safe. You know, I look at my ancestors and Brad's ancestors and what they went through. Like I said, I was blessed that my great-grandmother talked to me a lot about about her early adulthood and stuff and the things she went through with the Great Depression. And, you know, I know that my great-grandmother and great-grandfather lived in a tiny shack behind my grandparents' house. And that was for, I think it was for like over a year, through a winter and stuff. And, I mean, this thing was probably half the size of this RV, if that. And until my grandfather hand dug out the basement and finished it, and that's where they lived then from then on. And you think about, especially having grown up in Wyoming, that so many pioneers ended up in Wyoming, Utah, Montana, and that wasn't their goal. Their goal was to go to California for the gold rush. But by the time that they got to those states, their stock was depleted, what little bit they could bring. If you ever are curious of what the pioneers really went through and could bring, research it. There's not much they really could bring. And they end up leaving almost everything. But a lot of times that's why they ended up settling like in Wyoming and stuff, is they were sick, they were hungry, they were exhausted, they had no more food, they had no more resources. You know, you couldn't call anybody in those day and age. You couldn't even really get a letter. No. You know, a lot of those places, the Pony Express was not established yet. You know, and they were faced with this very barren land. A lot of Indians still, I love Indians, so don't, you know, but, you know, they had heard horror stories and were terrified. You know, a lot of times they had to learn to trust that the Indians, you know, weren't going to do anything to them. If you were respectful to them, they were going to be respectful to you, and you could learn a lot from them.
And they were just trying to protect their land.
Right.
They were there first.
You know, but you think about what they went through, and it's like, you know, I can do this. I'm in an RV, so, you know, I will just quit stressing out about the future and just take it as it comes. Like I said, we're together. Brad isn't having to put up with the severe cold and stuff, being on his feet, being in so much pain, you know, being sick to his stomach and stuff. A lot of the medications made him very sick. So, right?
Yep.
And his birthday is tomorrow. Somebody's having a birthday. Right?
No birthdays.
Yeah, sadly I can't afford to get him anything right now, but,
That's okay.
You know,
I got you.
When things get better, I do want to get you something. Like maybe a proper fishing rod and reel for here, you know, but you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do anything really for my birthday either, but that's life. It's fine. We're together. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here because this is a long one.
Yes, it is.
Right, honey?
Yes, baby.
So, I love you guys, and I cherish your friendship. And thank you for the comments that you leave. If you haven't so far, like and subscribe. Please share with your friends. And I think you guys are all awesome. Say bye, Brad.
Bye, Brad.
Bye, guys.